And a good afternoon to you. Welcome to News Now, where we tell you all the stories that are making headlines right now. And it starts now as Justice Chacha Mwita has dismissed the application to suspend the hearing of Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment motion before the Senate. However, the file will be sent to the Chief Justice Martha Koome to appoint a bench to hear the case. As things stand, the Senate impeachment proceedings slated for tomorrow are set to continue.
Article 4 of the Constitution. This file is to be placed before the Honorable Chief Justice to consider appointing an uneven number of judges to hear this petition. Given the close proximity of the issues in this petition and those in petition E522, the Honorable Chief Justice may consider whether this petition may be heard by the same bench appointed to hear petition E522. I make no orders on costs. Thank you.
Your Honor, we seek leave to appeal the ruling.
You said you are Ogeto?
Yeah, that's why Ogeto.
Yes.
So for that reason, Your Honor, on private basis, we seek for time.
All right, we'll have more details on that story in our subsequent bulletins. To move on, Court of Appeal Judge Justice John Mativo has joined jurists around the world led by the International Commission of Jurists, ICJ Kenya chapter, to call for the abolition of the death penalty in Kenya. Speaking during the commemoration of the World Day Against the Death Penalty, Justice Mativo termed the trend as inhuman and degrading. According to ICJ Kenya chapter, 166 people are currently on death row despite the country having no executions for the last 35 years. Now, the country's Supreme Court had made a landmark decision in 2017 to outlaw the mandatory death sentence.
I've lost hope. I've been there for as long as they can remember. So that's why there is a significant move worldwide for abolition of the death penalty. Is quite inhuman, is degrading, it's irreversible. And most countries in the world have abolished it, and even the ones which have it in the law books, people are sentenced to death, but they are not executed. So you find there's a reluctance to execute them. But recently, that was in 2017, our own Supreme Court made a significant decision, a landmark decision, whereby they outlawed the death penalty in murder cases. So persons convicted of the offense of murder have been given the window to apply for resentencing, and many of them have been resentenced to definite jail terms. Otherwise, we are looking forward to more development of the law, to a situation whereby we eliminate the death penalty from our law books, but that's the only way to go about it.
166 people on death row in Kenya, 3 of them being women, the rest being men. And having heard that Kenya has not executed anyone since 1987, we are urging that Kenya moves towards total abolition as much as we are now having a moratorium.
I'd like to commend ICJ for organizing this event as we all striving to abolish death penalty worldwide. You mentioned that France has abolished death penalty since 40 years. But I would like to say also that the European Union is a death penalty-free area. Member states of the European Union have all abolished death penalty.
All right, now on to matters education. The Public University Staff Unions, Universities Academic Staff Union, WASU, and the Kenya University Staff Union, KUSU, have issued a 7-day ultimatum strike notice following the government's failure to implement a return-to-work formula that they signed on September 26th of this year. The WASU and KUSU officials cautioned the government from taking advantage of the current political crisis as an excuse to stall the recent implementation of their return-to-work formula and the 2021 to 2025 National Collective Bargaining Agreement.
After the strike, we sat down with the government and agreed on a return-to-work formula which was drawn between the government and the unions concerned. To date, one of the items we agreed on very seriously was that we would begin implementing the salary, the agreed salaries, 7 to 10% of our members' salaries by October. We are concerned the time is running out and the government seems to be focused on other issues and not focusing on the very important issues of education.
And we are giving the government only 1 week to implement that return to work formula. Today is 15th, and our members expect new salaries next week. The universities know what they are supposed to pay, and we don't expect anything less than what we negotiated for. I want to caution universities, never ever try to implement or pay October salary without factoring 7 to 10%.
Right. Now, Member of Parliament Innocent Mugabe of Likuyani has criticized the national government for reducing the capitation funds for public schools, threatening to introduce a bill to ensure timely and adequate financial support. Speaking in Seregea, he expressed concerns that the funding cuts have made it difficult for head teachers to manage schools effectively. Mugabe also urged the Ministry of Education to implement strategies to improve infrastructure in primary and secondary schools in preparation for the upcoming enrollment of grade 9 students next year. His statements highlight the urgent need for increased educational resources to support local schools.
Pesa ya capitation, sasa badala shule zetu zipate 21,000, wamepunguzwa mpaka 11,000. Sijui hii serikali inafikiria hawa principals watatoa wapi pesa ya kulipa suppliers, ya kulipa staff, ya kulipa stima na mambo mengine katika hizi shule zetu. Kila mwaka pesa ya capitation imeendelea ikipunguka. Ni lazima tuangalie hili swala, na mimi kama mwakilishi wenu wa hapa Likuyani ninahakikishia kwamba nikienda kule bungeni nitaleta mswada wa kuhakikisha kwamba shule zetu zinapata capitation kwa njia iliyo sawa na capitation ya kutosha, ili watoto wetu wasifukuzwe nyumbani kwenda kutafuta karo. Sisi kama CDF tumefanya ile tumeweza, na pia kama ministry mmejaribu, lakini haitoshi. Na unajua yote tutarudi kwa baba ambaye ni ministry. Ministry yeke mipango dhabiti kuhakikisha shule zote, hakuna shule itakosa darasa ya grade 9 ikifika January. Sababu sijui watoto watasomea chini ya mti ama watasomea wapi. Tukimaliza pale tuanze kuangalia mambo ya laboratories, mambo ya libraries, mambo ya workshops katika shule zetu za JSS.
University Students Leaders Associations have commended the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, blaming Gachagua for purporting tribalism and instability in the country. Addressing the press at the Multimedia University, the student leaders have commended members of parliament for impeaching Gachagua, further urging members of the Senate to ensure that the embattled Deputy President is impeached. The young leaders have now called upon the judiciary to uphold parliament decisions for peace and stability in the country.
Viva Combes, viva! Viva! Viva Combes, viva! Viva! Viva Combes, viva! Viva! Viva Combes, viva! Viva! Viva Combes, viva! Viva!
We want a nation where the presidency is a symbol of unity, and for that to happen, Rigathi Gachagua has to go. Comrades, power.
Power.
We also note that the vote that happened at the National Assembly is a vote of no confidence in the office of Rigathi Gachagua and in his ability as a man to lead this nation as the deputy president.
Rigathi Gachagua must live for the nation to continue. Comrades, power.
Power.
We therefore demand that the broken relationship must come to an end The nation is bigger than one individual, the nation is bigger than one tribe, and the nation is bigger than all of us.
Now, following the public participation bill that is set to educate and sensitize the public on projects set aside by the government, a section of MCAs from Garissa County have pledged to pass the bill so as to promote public participation for future projects planned in the county. Speaking during a meeting held in Mombasa town, Majority Leader Mohammed Abdi has confirmed to the residents that the bill will be passed as law, while they clearly show a misunderstanding on the various projects set to improve different sectors.
Other displaced populations, in this case the IDPs.
As an assembly, as an institution which handles legislation, we want to make sure that public participation and civic education are carried out at the lowest level in our county of Garissa, so that we enlighten our public on what best for them to be done in terms of development, in terms of areas where the government will be doing programs that will support the local people at the grassroots level.
I've seen that